This is Jeff Eastman, founder of North Canton Paranormal Detectives, NCPD, and inventor of what I believe is the next generation dowsing rods. But before I introduce that to you, let's take a step back and see where we came from. So like you, we really like to do dowsing rods. My wife and I have been doing this for many years. And we started out with, a set of coat hangers, straw handles. That got us by, but it wasn't good enough. Next, I went on the internet and I bought a pair of dowsing rods, and these have a beaded handle. And they're better. Didn't like the movement. Also, I couldn't see them at night when I'm in the room doing investigations, so I coated them with many layers of glow-in-the-dark paint. But that only lasts for about 4 minutes. So then I said, being a mechanical engineer by profession, I'm going to make my own. So I got my copper wire, I got my aluminum handles, bearings, and I made my own. Again, I painted them with many layers of glow-in-the-dark paint. And this got me by, but I still wasn't happy. I thought that I could do something better. So, after a couple of prototypes, I came up with the EL dowsing rods. And that stands for electric light dowsing rods. And I'll show you what they look like. Let's turn off the lights so I can demonstrate. Okay, hello, I'm back. I'm going to give you a little demonstration of what you guys grew up with dowsing rods. Right now I'm holding the traditional coat hanger. And in the IR camera that you can see up to on this side of the monitor, you can't see these in the dark. You'd have to turn the light on. And a lot of times your lights are creating shadows and just, again, very awkward. So we graduated from those to this pair that I created. Now this, I thought I got my problem solved by painting glow-in-the-dark. And by the way, you guys can do this too. Just go get yourself a bunch of glow-in-the-dark paint, put about 10 layers on there. Turn off the headlamp. And there you go. It looks like it's going to work out. But again, in about 4 minutes I'm going to have to charge them up again. And I don't get the added benefits of what I'm going to be telling you about with my new EL dowsing rods. So we put these aside. And let's fire up the new EL dowsing rods. Okay, as you can tell, these are much brighter. They move very freely. And what I like to tell the spirits when we're out ghost hunting is I'll tell them, you have never seen this type of dowsing rod before. Do not be afraid. They will not harm you. And then I'll put them up to my face and say, use the energy in the light. Use the energy in the handles to help manipulate these. So your typical questions that I like to ask, of course there's going to be yes and no's. So yes, I'm going to move these, physically move these for you. Yes would be crossing. No would be spreading them apart. And what I like to ask are my pointing questions. Like, it's very dark in this room. I'm having trouble seeing where you are. Can you please point these dowsing rods in your direction? And if I happen to be at a location where the spirits are active, I will get the rods pulling to one side. Now if they're standing in front of you, if the spirits are in front of you, you're going to have to tell them to move. So I am physically moving these off to one side. And at this point, I will find a reason to point them in the opposite direction. Reason being is you don't know if your head is telling your hands subconsciously to move to that side. So I'll say, hey, my wife is sitting to my right. Can you please point these dowsing rods in her direction? And then I'll get them both to swing to the right side, and then I'll know whether or not my hands are moving or not. What What I like to do on my next ghost hunting investigation is an experiment where I'm going to put these on the edge of a table, like so. I'm going to find something to keep them in position, and I'll be telling you about that in just a minute, holding them on the table. Okay? Step back and ask the spirits, when the dowsing rods have finally settled from moving, ask the spirits, if the answer is yes, could you please separate, or please cross the dowsing rods? If the answer is no, please separate them. Or you can have them move one dowsing rod versus the other. And if you've purchased more than one dowsing rod from me, they do come in colors, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But if you happen to have gotten two different dowsing rods, you could tell the spirits, put this guy up, to answer with the colors. Hopefully the spirits can still see in color. So you would say, if the answer is yes, move the green dowsing rod. If the answer is no, move the pink dowsing rod. So that's an experiment that I'm going to be trying next time I'm out. Okay, so I started telling you about the different colors that I have. Well, let me go ahead and show you. Okay, for the colors, I'm going to be offering blue, neon green, pink, orange, and yellow. If you ask me which colors do the spirits like the most, I have no idea. I have not done a survey on that. I don't know if they can even see in color. That would be a question you could ask. For me, I'm most comfortable with blue. That's my favorite color. And my wife has a pink pair. Okay? And now let's talk about the details of the EL dowsing rod construction. Okay, I'm here to tell you about the construction of the EL dowsing rod. First of all, it's 18 inches, 1/8 inch diameter, C110 full hard copper. The copper is full length down the handle with 2 precision bearings, top and bottom, for maximum stability. We have a polished 1/2 inch diameter aluminum handle. The inverter or the power supply is located on top, just above the pivot point. There are no moving electronics below the pivot point. In fact, if you can see, all the electronics, the wires coming out of the inverter to the main shaft here, have been hot melted or potted in the back side. They are not exposed. There are no moving joints. This black band that you see here is an added feature I put on there. It's actually a rubber band, and that helps that if you were to ever drop this, it assures that the battery cover will not fly off. Have you ever been someplace with a piece of equipment and dropped it and had the battery case fly off and have your batteries come flying? Well, that's just an added protection there. To show you what those batteries look like, it's just one. I'll take this top, slide off the top, just like that. So we got one AAA battery, and I'll tell you in a little bit how long these last. It just stays on the top, just like that, easy to replace. Snaps it in place. On the opposite side, we have the on, off. So we have fully on, off, and then there's 50% on and off. You can see that. That's another good way, or an experiment, that you can put these on like a bookshelf, put them on 50% mode, and treat them like a beacon. Have them flashing. Tell the spirits, come to the light and let's do an EVP session or whatever. Okay? So if you're asking me, how am I going to carry these because they look pretty big and bulky, am I going to slide them through my belt loop? Are they going to get bent? No, I came up with a very clever invention that I'm going to show you. Okay, so you asked me, Jeff, how am I going to transport these while I'm walking around these dark locations? I'm butting into stuff. These look like they're going to be pretty difficult to carry around. The answer is no. I invented, call it the Dowsing Rod Scabbard. Basically, it's like what you put a sword into, except this one houses the dowsing rods. So there are two separate tubes because that allows them to stack. They're very lightweight PVC tubing. I've got a 3-inch carabiner, and then an optional, this feature down here is for an optional shoulder strap. So basically, I just take this, I hook it up to my belt loop, like so. You can see that. Okay, so now I'll be walking around, I'll come to a location, my hands are free, I can do whatever, I've got my video cameras, I've got other things. I come to a spot where I want to do some dowsing, I just pull them out, turn them on, sit down, relax, do some dowsing rods. When I'm done, just grab your scabbard, there, and you're off for the races. This tube here will protect them. It's very sturdy. It's PVC tubing, and this comes complete when you purchase the set of dowsing rods. You also get the scabbard included. Okay, I'm here to show you that the dowsing rod power supply puts out as much EMF as the Pro EM pump that you can get online for about 50 bucks. So, just as a demonstration is, here's my millimeter. This is turned off. I turned it on, I got a brand new battery in there. So we're getting closer. It's pegged at about, okay, we've got about a 1/4 inch. It's pegged to meter, over 200 milligauss. It's dropping off. That's about 3/4 of an inch. And you can see it's dropping off drastically. We're going to take this all the way out so it's 0. Now, a lot of paranormal people in the field think that the EM pump is like a juice box for the spirits. That the spirits use that energy to communicate, either speak or move objects. So that's all theory. Okay, we're out at 7 inches and about 8.5. It is now 0. Okay, it's way out there. It is 0. Okay, I'm going to shut this off. Just turned on the dowsing rod. We're going to move it over here. Okay, about a 1/2 inch. Getting closer. It's pegged. So it's just about touching. It's pegged to meter. And again, let's back this off. Four and a half, 5 inches, 5.5 inches, it's down to 0. So why that is important is while you're holding these dowsing rods, for people who think they're EMF sensitive, when you hold these dowsing rods, all you have to do is just keep them 6 inches from your face or your head, and you will not feel the effects of the EMF. But you can still tell the spirits to use that energy to help manipulate the rods. I'd like to tell you that at the base of each dowsing rod, I take a lot of pride in my work. So I put my logo and the name, Dowsing Rods, and a serial number. A unique serial number for each dowsing rod because I'm very proud of the work that I do and I want to keep track of it. For more information how you can obtain your next generation electric light dowsing rods, come visit us at ncpdohio.com. And as always, good luck and have fun at your next paranormal investigation.